Hey Albert,
Morning, Mr. Grider. How are you, sir?
doing great. Just watching the stocks go up and down, the bond market in turmoil. Crazy. Yeah, I'm telling you, I've never seen it like that. I've been doing this a long time, right? There's been crashes and all that kind of stuff, but man, we're up one day, huge. We're down the next day, huge. It's like, man, the volatility index is at all-time high for me. It's just like crazy.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a little it's a little undecisive as far as like what are we doing today?
Little unnerving.
Yeah.
A little unnerving. Yes. Are we buying? Are we
But
not buying? What are we doing?
Uh,
we gave
exactly, right?
gave back 1,500 points from yesterday's 2,900.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens in the day happens. But the good news is that activity levels up, I'd say significantly from Q1 as we're starting into March and into April. So that's good, right?
I think that's
It's
great, man. Good.
large loan season.
Yep.
Summer is right around the corner, right? It's starting to warm up. So, I'm with that, right? Having
That's
that in
good.
mind, let's talk about purchases, right? How
Yep.
about we talk about how we can close more purchases? Definitely, the weather's getting a little bit warmer, and I think this is the time when people start looking around to get to get into those houses, whether it be an investment property or whatever the case may be, right? So, as always, thank you for your participation. And who's with us today? So as always, Mr. David Grider, who is our senior vice president of wholesale lending here at Home Express. Myself, Albert Martinez, who is a corporate trainer here at Home Express. And then today we have with us one of our top RSMs. We have Mr. Peter Hurley. So with that, I'd like to hand it off to you, Mr. Grider.
Oh, thank you very much. As we start into the agenda, we got to talk a little bit about the market a little bit. And thank you all for being on here because I look at this and it's got to be chaotic for borrowers and brokers and loan officers today, right? It's like, well, did you lock your loan? Is it locked? Is it going up, going down? And just a flood of calls that might be coming in. What's my payment? Did we lock? I could see all that. So as we start this, please put any questions you have in the box. We'll handle all of those at the end. Could be on the market in general or non-QM products or anything that you have questions on. We'll address those. But I kind of like in the market like this, and it has to do with really kind of the rates as we're going today and the bond buyers. One is if I'm going to go out and buy a car, let's say at $50,000, right? So I'm going to go buy a car, but the next day it's 40,000. Okay, well I can buy a car for 40,000. The next day it goes up to 50,000. Okay, I'm either going to hold off to buy it for 40,000 or hold off to see what it is, or say, hey, I'll buy the car, but it's $40,000. And that's really the supply and demand and things that come in and the chaos that this has created. And there's a little bit of chaos in the bond and treasury market today. It's like if you're a bond buyer today and our loans eventually hit into the bonds, it's like, do you want a rate of return of 3.5% or 4.5%? Well, today it's 3.5, tomorrow it's 4.5. You're probably going to hold off or at least say, hey, I'll buy it, but I want this in particular yield. So as a normal market would be, you see the downward trend maybe in the 10-year, 2-year treasury. You'll see that when rates come down, but you're not going to see that full effect in today's market because of volatility. Don't know what it is. And those go into the credit spreads of not just uncertainty. So you won't see the full effect of it. So as you see, as the rates might not go down like you think they should, that is why everybody's going, it could be 4.5 tomorrow. We don't know. And we're going to have this bond for a longer stretch of time based on some type of rate of return. And it gets real confusing. So until the chaos stops, you probably won't see the full effect of that. So I'm hoping that gets resolved soon. So we're going to go into agenda. I'm going to talk a little bit about the purchase market today and how significant that is from Q1 and even last year. And then we'll go over some programs.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Hey, Mr. Grider,
yeah,
before we get moving to the agenda, what do you think if we ask the masses? I know how you like those polls, Mr. Grider.
I like a poll. I like the interaction, right? So yeah, let's go with one.
Absolutely. Here we go. So The question is, talking about the market and the tariffs and everything that's going on, will the tariffs pause continue after 90 days? What say you in the
Wow.
gallery?
I,
So,
I
oof,
think the market's going to push for, hey, can we get some calmness? I mean, this yo-yo effect is just it gives everybody a heart attack, right? And I kind of look at too, if I was a business, do I really want to employ and expand when I really don't know what the cost of things are? That's very difficult to do. So I'm thinking we're going to have some measure of hey, this is where it's going to be. So I think we'll have more of a pause long term. Uh, that would be my take on it.
yeah, it's hard to predict what your profit margin is going to be from one quarter to
Can't.
the next. I mean, that's a little difficult. So the masses have spoken. Let's go ahead and let's end that poll. Thank you everyone for participating. And no, they will not continue. So, but ooh, it was close though, 52
Uh,
to 48.
it could
It's a,
go. I mean, this is a
the coin
wild
toss.
card. I wake
Coin
up in the
toss.
morning and it's a wild card. I don't know what's going to happen, right? So it's just my thoughts. Maybe I'm wishful thinking of like, hey, can we get a calm market that's got an even trend? This is wishful thinking for me, right? So, all right,
Very much a coin toss at this moment,
all
sir.
right,
So
all
with
right.
that, let's go ahead and let's keep moving forward, sir.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. That's awesome. All right, we'll go to the agenda here and we'll cover this. Albert, if you can scroll down and go with that. And then, we'll talk a little bit about programs and we're going to go into where you can gain some more purchase loans, some of the strategies that we know some of the loan officers we have out there do and some of our partners have, and give you some contact information. So let's just go right into the purchase market in 2025, right? Oh man, I know you guys can't read the screen, and everybody here that's registered is going to get a copy of the deck. But this wanted to show you where I'm getting this data from, and then as we go into some of the other slides, more significantly where it's at. But Q2 is expected to have a big jump in mortgage volume, right? And that's kind of where this thing comes up. We're going to go from somewhere around very light Q1 to of like 370 billion to like 550 billion in Q2, right? Of total refinances and purchases. And we're going to concentrate more on the purchases, and I'll be on the next slide. Gives you a little more details of what that looks like, but there's a lot of transactions that we could capitalize on together on a partnership level. So go to the next slide. I'm kind of going to break out what it looks like from 2024 and in 2025, right? So if you look at the purchase market in Q1 in 2025, it's about 270 billion. And that was actually lower than Q1 in 24, which is shocking. It was not a great quarter either. But look at the difference in Q2. We're going to jump up 100 billion in Q2, right? And then continue on a pretty good trend on the purchase market through the remainder of the year, outpacing 2024. And this is what it is. This is from a comment that we have here from NAR. Purchase volume year over year expect to increase starting in Q2. I think what's I've seen it. I was out in the field a little bit, talked to some of our partners, and the activity level from February is spiked for them. I'm talking 10 deals. Now they have 50 or 60 going on, which is a great sign of transactions that are happening today. So I think everybody's kind of settled in. I can't wait any longer. If my family has needs, they have a bigger house, I need to move down, or I need to go to a more affordable place. So we're going to see some more transactions in Q2. We want to help you capitalize on that. So let's go to the next slide, Albert, and we'll go with some little more information on the housing inventory. And so you can see that housing inventory is climbing up. This is actually good news for buyers, right? They have more selection. It's kind of more even keel, 5-month range of inventory. And again, geography matters. I get all that. This is kind of a national thing. Well, we're about where we were in January 2020, and probably going to go up from here too, right? There's people that need to move, and you might even go up a little bit more, but it's now not, it used to be a seller's market with not enough inventory. Now we're seeing inventory nationally at least go up. Then I saw another article I just want to share with you, and I really mean the geography does matter. Albert, if we go to the next slide. This was an article in the Wall Street Journal, And you can see the highlight down as geography, and it just contrasts the two homes, right? One was in New Jersey and the other one was in South Florida, 5-bedroom type of ranch house, typical. And again, I always think articles are more, they're forward facing, meaning we're going to grab the ones that make my narrative the best, right? So I get all that. But we had a 4-bedroom ranch in New Jersey, had multiple offers in the first week. You go into this 4-bedroom ranch in South Florida, had none in 30 days. And so geography does matter, right? Where it's at. But even in South Florida, there is microclimates where homes they sell pretty quick. That's where people want to live. And you'll probably see that in your community, no matter where it's at. There's certain microclimates or within that community and that neighborhood that has more appeal to buyers than others. It has more activity. So don't just think it's, oh, that area is there. No, there's microclimates everywhere you go. And it's probably us, we get together with a good real estate agent that kind of know where that is based on schools, maybe the, property taxes to where demand might be more in the future, where you can see where values might go up. And it's really need to dig down into specific neighborhoods. We'll go to the next slide here on some interesting trends. And the reason I kind of do this is kind of like, just kind of see where people are still moving, right? And what states are they moving to, right? So North Carolina, South Carolina, got Texas, Tennessee, Florida. Remember, we just talked about Florida. Still people moving to Florida. Then I looked at the least popular states, right, in the into out move ratio, like New Jersey, California, Connecticut, New York. I look at these are the affordability index, right? And what's that mean is like, on both sides, there's transactions. And I'm going to tell you some empirical data that I have personally, right? I was out 3 weeks. So I live in Northern California, by the way. And I was taking my garbage out just like everybody does, garbage days the next morning. And I was talking to my neighbor that evening, and he goes, "Hey, I got to move. I had some employment issues, and for affordability, I got to sell my house, and I'm going to move to Texas." So you look at, okay, California, all right, moving out, right? That thing is, but that's a transaction, right? They're going to put their house on the market and sell it. So that's a transaction. Now they're moving to Texas. That's a transaction. So when you look at both of it, I look at it more as a glass half full, meaning, hey, there's areas of affordability, and I understand why people need to move. We need to help those out. So there's one transaction, one side is going to be another one in there. And that's where I think the transactions are going to be more. We're going to see some of that in Q2, and I'm seeing it real life in my block that I live, right? And so that's just kind of some trends I thought would be interesting to show that it is happening. All right, let's go into some programs. If you looked at my last 3 or 4 webinars that Albert's kind of put on here, we've talked about these a lot more in depth, but I just want to tell you the non-QM is really growing. I think it's going to be 5% or so of the total mortgage market, and that's up from 3. And really get in with a good non-QM company, more specifically an AE that really knows how to structure these deals, very responsive, which we have here, and they can help you navigate that. But the self-employed borrowers are out there. If you looked at that, the growth of the self-employed borrower, the gig workers and stuff they do, we're able to navigate that and get that income without using tax returns, going through all, make it all difficult. We have great asset programs. And if you go into the consumer purpose side on non-QM, even on the BSBR, you can have interest-only payment. And we all know that rates kind of like are a little bit higher. And I actually predict in 2026 or come down. So every loan you do today is probably another loan tomorrow. Then our business purpose, we're doing a lot of those still. There's small to medium investors are looking at, hey, where can I get some good value for that? Is it the stock market today? I don't know. Or is it, let's find a good rental property, long-term rent somewhere, and I got real estate that's backing up, and I can have tenants in there, and a debt service covers that, and I'll kind of go from that style. Pete, I know you're dealing with LOs and brokers and AEs every day in the field. What kind of transactions are you seeing in the non-QM space today?
Well, like you said, we've got, it's microclimates. We've got an increase in inventory. So we've got a real solid, purchase season shaping up here. So we're seeing a ton of uptick in your consumer purpose, owner rock, self-employed bank statement programs. We've had a couple Asset Express. These are some great loans of ours. We just had a $2 million La Jolla, San Diego, coastal property submission recently, and we'll, qualify the borrower off their assets. So that's pretty darn popular right now. As always, we've got, DSCR, business purpose, and if the DSCR comes in a little bit light, we can, go income doc as well. So, I think it's going to be a great, purchase season here.
Yep.
I
we-
think
we've
better
seen
than
an uptick.
expected.
Oh, it is. We've seen an uptick on this, and it's empirical, and we just want to help you get those closed with you. Some other programs, Albert, that we've come out with, and got a few of them in here, and I kind of tell you why there's a few of them in here. We can come with the Prime Jumbo AUS, right? So that's been out there for a while. We have it, but when I look at certain LTVs and FICOs, non-QM could be just as well priced or even better. So when you kind of look at that, it's just options for the borrower that has AUS approval, and will follow the AS approval for the income doc. Still need appraisal waiver, but good programs. When you see the higher LTVs on those, might be a little bit better on the Prime Jumbo AUS. And we also come out with the agency non-owner AUS, and that doesn't have all the LLPAs, the loan level price adjustments that the conforming or agency world has. And it might be a little bit better priced, and sometimes they're significantly better priced, depending on the day and the way it works on those, where that might be a fit for you. And then we're going to get into some other new programs that might be new to you, but we've had for a while, right? And so I just decided to highlight some of that, and that'll be in our next slide, Albert. And that's going to be FHA and VA and government program. We're talking about non-QM, right? Yes, we are a non-QM primarily company, and but we've had FHA and VA for a few years now. And why I want to bring this out to you is that being a non-QM company first, we do not have to have margins significant as other lenders have on their government programs. And we have great service on those. We have dedicated underwriters and teams that to get these deals done for you. So this was done a couple days ago on a FHA, $450,000 loan amount, 620 FICO. On Loan Sifter, we were number 2, right
Wow.
there. Right. So just some great pricing and great service. So it's like the little secret you may not have even known is like you got a mid 600 score, right? And I kind of put it in there where our wheelhouse is, 600, 699. It gets above that, then the pricing, that kind of stuff. But we're still very competitive on them. But man, I tell you, our pricing is really great. So you have some purchases going on FHA, be great to have that pricing. And this is real money on that when you start looking at what's on here, real money for the borrower, put them in a better position. So that's FHA. Let's look at the next slide on VA, right? Let's take a VA loan. This is 6%, 680 FICO purchase. Number 1 on Loan Sifter is two days ago. And
Incredible.
that's real money. That's real money that can help our veterans out. So when you're thinking about the government side, run the pricing bias, put it in our portal, checks on a Loan Sifter or Lender Price. Those should show up on there. You'll be pleasantly surprised on the loans between 600 and 699. All right. So let's get into, kind of where we're going to find some of these purchase loans, right? That's kind of what we're on here. Do we have another
Mr. Grider,
poll?
before we go to the next slide, Mr. Grider, I know how much you like those polls, and considering everything that's going on with the market and volatility, and obviously, a lot of the purchases, just like you've been mentioning, a lot of it is rate driven, right? So, we kind of wanted to ask the masses what they think about the feds, and how many times will the Federal Reserve cut rates in 2025? Do we think it will be more than 2, or do we think it will be less than 2? What say you, Mr. Grider?
I think it's 2 or 3, and I think it's all the unknown outcomes that have happened. One is, this tariff thing kind of puts it in a little chaos. Our business is really going to expand when you don't know the cost of things. You don't know, it's so volatile. And the other thing too, with administration and cutting back of federal employees and federal governments and those type of things, where are they going to find jobs? And I guess there probably some severance on that, but is that employment? So if you look at the 2 mandates of the Federal Reserve, one is inflation to keep it towards 2% and full employment. Don't know what is going to happen, but I would estimate 2 to 3 would be my guess. And going to next year might be more depending on inflation and employment.
The
That'd be my
masses
guess.
agree with you. It
All
looks like
right,
more
all
than
right,
two.
good.
More than two is what
I kind of
everybody
think of the
thinks.
same thing, right? I think they have to. Just for everything is done, I think we're going to have a slowdown. I mean, there's unintended consequences for every decision. Whether you believe it's right, wrong, or other thing, it's just there are consequences, and we have to deal with that. I do think it's going to be probably healthier in 26 than it is today on the volatility, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
Even though, yeah. So as we go into this purchase loans, where to find them, and I kind of read the story for this. I've read a lot. You know, if you know that I'm a nerd, I read a lot and I watch a lot of podcasts. And if I looked at a loan officer success, right, and that's really what we want. We want all our loan officers to be very successful, and the key for that is to build relationships, right? So and get that sphere of influence up. And I read something, if you can get like 100 clients, maybe less than that, 50 clients going at the beginning, that sphere of influence is great. You have their family, their friends, right? The real estate agent they dealt with, right? And then you have the deals when rates go low, right? So there's all this movement back in there, right? And so I kind of focus on the purchases, even though refinances are great. You want to take all that in. And by the way, refinances, that's maybe 32% of the market in Q2. And we've seen a lot of those come in too, right? But 68% of the transactions is predicted in Q2 to be purchases. So we can get in there right, and you can get that client moving forward with you for your career. I mean, it's great. You're going to have repeat business, and that is awesome. You're going to get the referrals from real estate agents, right? And you're going to get that rate and term when the rates go down. Everybody's predicting rates to go down. So it's really doing a good job getting them in the house that they want and that they need for their family, whatever their case may be. And then that's a client for you if we do a good job. And we got to be part of that too and do a good job to make you look good. And we're committed to that, right? So let's look at ways to kind of gain some clients here of home buyers and get some more transaction for us. So I'll be on the next slide, Albert. I always start out with real estate agents, right? They're out there, they're sellers agents, buyers agents now, and all that, how that works, right? Today, right? You ever kind of see how that worked, but get in with them, right? And just let them know what you have to offer, right? You can utilize some of our AEs will go in there and let you know of the expanded programs if they're just used to doing the traditional financing, the Fannie, Freddie, and government programs. So there's other programs out there, maybe small to medium investors want to go in there. We will help you with that and get your relationships going with some real estate agents, right? Other place to go is commercial loan officers, right? They're staying in the commercial space. We're in the residential space, right? And they'll have referrals. If they have, again, some people that own apartment complexes or other buildings and those type of stuff, they have needs too for their families. Where are they going to go, right? Well, you can get a referral. Maybe that's a big commercial loan that you can refer back. So you get some reciprocity with that. Property management company. Our buddy owns a large property management company, and he gets referrals all the time. They're asking him, it's like, hey, I'd like to refinance or looking at expanding my portfolio. Who do you recommend to get a loan from, right? For the purchase. I actually had that 2 weeks ago, right? From my buddy. Say, hey, he's looking at expanding. Where do you go? He owns 12 properties. He's getting cut back from where he's at. Can you help? Yeah, we have unlimited properties they can own on our investment property programs. Great deal, right? Private hard money lenders, they usually typically lend 6 to 12 months, and they need a takeout. And these are primarily for properties that they're trying to buy, but they don't quite fit yet until they're fixed up to meet certain standards for the appraisal. And then they're going to get they need takeout, right? You could be that takeout LO for that particular hard money or private money shop. I believe in social media today, right? So if you look on YouTube, I'm a little bit on there with our company, right? Some of our stuff is their YouTube, right? You can expand your influence, right? And I look at it, there's thousands until you get to that group of 50 or 60 real cool clients, and those referral network will really help you out. So let everybody know what you do and that you're an expert, that they're going to like you and trust you because you're going to get it done, right? And you have the AE behind you that will back you up and be responsive. network financial planners, like Pete mentioned the other day. We have a asset program going in La Jolla. They have heavy assets, right? Where they can get a loan. May not have the income on paper, but they have $5-6 million. Easy loans to get done, right? There's not an ATR issue for DTI. It would qualify bond assets. We talked about investment seminars. If you're in resort areas that are for short-term rentals, you can network with there, let them know there's programs for those as well. So with that, let's look at some recently closed examples. We'll try to keep it to 2 or 3 here, Pete, so we can take some questions as we get into 1025.
No problem. All right, Dave, the first one we have here, purchase in California, self-employed borrower, couldn't go full doc. So we, went 12 months bank statement, met the ability to repay with that. 100% gift, gotta love that. 100% gift is okay with 20% down. They had 6 months reserves. You can't gift with the reserves, but borrower was good with the reserves. So this was a good loan, limited payment shock, and shock is where that new mortgage payment is similar to that of the rent. That's common on the West Coast. But yes, this was a slam dunk for us. Next, we have a purchase in Nevada. Once again, one of my favorite loans, somewhat underutilized. Yeah, we're in that season though that we'll get in the purchase season. A lot on the West Coast. A lot of folks have obtained a lot of wealth over the years. This one was fallout due to they're older and retired and annuity and pension couldn't bridge the gap, but they had 900,000 in liquid assets. So it's a great program, easy conditions, easy approvals. They fly through. You can get them done as quick as Trid can get them done if they're real good.
Yeah.
780 FICO reserves, gotta love it.
Pete, I think if I was an LO today, and it's we don't ask some of the questions that can save your deal. And that
That's right.
asset session, they don't. I mean, if you could get that, it could help you out because we could use assets for doing the whole loan, or we can use assets as part of income to make up that DTI. And so if you can get that assets out there, it lets you know, makes a deal go through a lot easier. Case DTI, oh, I'm at 51. Well, they got a 401k, a couple 100,000, deal's done, right? And so all those things really help you out if you can really focus on, do they have assets and acquired, and we can use those, right, Pete?
Yep. Asset assist is great. And it's a little bit underutilized, like we said, but they're easy.
All right.
Okay. Next,
Well, we go to scenario 4. As we're closing
Okay.
out here.
This one was self-employed trucking business. Went 12-month bank statements, 20% down, slam dunk, 780 FICO. And this one wasn't self-employed full 2 years. And we based the qualifications off the cash flow of the business the last 12 months.
That's awesome. Okay. I think this is the last one, Pete.
All right, this one, let's see what we have. Oh, 1.6 million, like that, California. This was a kind of a make sense deal, 1 year full doc. The borrower was a rolling 60. So, the ACH didn't take when the loan transferred. Kind of a make sense deal. This type of borrower doesn't typically roll 12 months, 60 days behind. We're good with life events and isolated housing events. We'll go up to 1 times 90 in the last 12 months. But this was a make sense deal, 25% down, 680 FICO, and $1 million in reserves. Turned out.
Yeah, I can't believe they get turned down, but they do get turned down, right? So again, we're a make sense lender. We underwrite our own guidelines, fund with our own money. Just give us those deals that make sense and they're not, and you're struggling with. Just reach out to us and one of our highly qualified AEs, and they'll get it done. So I also like to talk about something new that we started this year. Albert, if we go to the next slide, and that's non-delegated correspondent. We have maybe 15, 16 sellers already approved going through that non-delegated. And I'll talk a little bit more about it, a little bit on the slide with this, but this makes you the lender, but you still get everything that Home Express has. So if you're working at a company that has some non-delegated, especially on the agency, it'd be kind of good to kind of put that into the non-QM spot, right? And so that we can help you out. So how do you go about exploring that? So that's going to be on our next slide, Albert, and we'll talk a little bit about that, right? You become a partner. We have no carve outs on our non-delegated correspondent. So you get everything that we have on the wholesale programs. We'll look at exceptions. We'll do all that. And you keep your same AE, right? It's not you're going somewhere else, have to deal with someone else, right? So the thing is just like, let us know who to talk to. We'll kind of go through that. We need to know kind of your process that you have now. What warehouse lines we're approved with many, but we're easily get approved. We're a highly capitalized company. We have $1 billion in lines, and our net worth would be approved. Just trust me on that, right? We just kind of go through the steps that we have with it, kind of like a mini core, and then we go ahead and set you up with that. Then we do a formal kickoff with your operations team, right? With our it's kind of a white glove service, right? That you can enjoy. Actually pick up the phone. You can actually meet the people you're dealing with on your team, right? And then the next step is we kind of go through the price. Use the same portal, but now you're the lender, right? So we just got to make sure you kind of understand the steps on making sure the loan, we purchased it at the right compensation on the loan that you have. But very easy. It's going to be, I call it like, it's a mini core. We try to get everything great in wholesale put over here where you can be the lender with more flexibility and more control with that. So you can reach out to me on that, or your AE. With that, well, I guess we'll take some questions here, right, Albert?
Yes, sir. We can definitely take some questions. So one of the questions that has been asked is, how do you approach a traditional lender for fallout loans?
Yeah, that's a great question, right? So, and I have some people as you really go into the loan officers that are there, right? And say, hey, I know you bank here. Again, some of these people at the banks, they have goals too for clients and all that kind of stuff, right? Say, hey, if you have anything that falls out and it's a good client of yours, kind of be a resource. That way, if you're a resource, even if you don't complete that transaction at the place you are, that is helpful to them. They're going to remember that. So you just ask for that. Hey, if you have something that you can't do here, and I'll also help you out, and bring clients for banking or those type of things to you on your expertise. You need to have some, I call it reciprocity, right? Or where you're doing something for them, they do something for you. But you'd be surprised that they really want to help people out. And what is our goal, right? If I look at the mortgage goal or even non-QM, we're here to help borrowers, especially in non-QM, that got turned down for additional financing. That's really it, but they're good borrowers. There's no way they should be declined for a loan, and we're helping them out. And it doesn't matter who it is. It's about helping these families out, get into the home that they need for the family, get the cash out for tuition for their lives to go through. So if we have that mentality, we're here to help the borrowers and the clients first. There, and you'll see where they're like-minded as well, that hey, they can't close. Let's help this client out, and they will help you. So really, it's really going to the loan officers and going through them, letting them know who you are, what you do, and it'll start over time where they might refer you a few deals and expand that.
Mr. Grider, and as we're talking about, fallout loans, here's another great question, and it's what is the best way to contact home builders for fallout loans?
Man, those are tough to break, right? Home builders, they want control over their deal, right? I always do it this way. So, I always look at this. Even some of our clients, we have a lot of big companies, large that they do almost everything in house, and we're still approved with them for the fallouts, what they can't do. What you do is say, what you can do internally, I'm going to make sure you guys keep that, right? If they fit with you and what you want to do, because they want control. What I will do, if you have something that comes out, be a call for me, and I'll work on those deals that don't. So you got to set it up where you're not going to take their core business away, right? So that's how I approach it. Hey, I'm here to help you on deals that something might happen at the end, and help you close those. So I always come from that type of approach where you're going to help supplement them, right? And if you have clients that want to buy there or looking at that area, you want to make sure you're helping them out as too. and be real about it, right? And the real thing is that they do have deals that fall out from a home builder aspect, and then they want it closed within 1 week, and you just got the loan, right? So that's the other problem that you have with those too. But ultimately, it's about closing those deals. So it's really the approach of not here to take it. When you talk to the LOs or the home builder itself, if you have your own in-house, great. What I would like to do, if you have something going down the track, because these are building over 3 to 6 months, something in their finances goes a little bit different, and were you able to get it closed, it doesn't fit the parameters where you're at, give me a call. I'll jump right on it, and I'll be very responsive and get you done in a few weeks, right? So that's the
Yes.
approach I take.
Awesome. Thank you for all that insight, Mr. Grider. And as you were talking about social media and your takes on it, a question did kind of pop up, and it said, how do you use social media to find purchase borrowers? What are some of your recommendations for that, Mr. Grider?
Well, it's letting you know what you do. What are you going to be an expert at, right? So you want to make sure you kind of proclaim yourself as an expert. So they're all going to like you. You guys are on here. Everybody I know I like anyway. So it's really just setting yourself as an expert and having clips of examples of what you've done, right? So I do this. Got to talk about what you're an expert at. I'm expert at those borrowers that are self-employed, maybe 2 years, maybe under 2 years at times, what they have, because we have programs that are less than 2 years self-employed, or gig works. We're able to navigate your income without using tax returns, right? So if you're self-employed, can't use tax returns, I am your expert, and you kind of get that out there and try to get as many likes as you can and talk to people about it. So it's really, and I wish I could say it's an instant process. It is not. It takes over time of getting that out there, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube or any of the social media platforms are out there, and it just builds up over time. So if I look at marketing for new purchases, don't ever think it's instantaneous. I'm going to go out there and get loans. Yeah, you can, because you're doing the right activities, right? If you do the right activities, business will eventually come to you. But you look at it as a strategy out there. The strategy is, okay, I'm going to do social media posts. I'm going to go to LinkedIn. I'm going to go into try to some communities that have truck drivers, for instance. There's probably communities of truck drivers. Let them know, hey man, this is what I do. I can help you out if you need home loans right here. You're 1099 or self-employed truck. That's great. Doesn't matter what business it is, right? Or CPA networks, right? Hey, we got some great asset programs or ones that have tax returns. Any problems on that, I'm your person. So you kind of get into these groups where your name kind of is out there, and all of a sudden somebody calls you on that, right? But it takes over time. Then all of a sudden, as soon as you do one, then they'll refer you other ones. It's all about getting that first deal and making sure that goes through smooth, and just keep on building on that. It's not overnight. It probably takes 3 to 6 months of hard, heavy lifting of finding all these things out. So, but it starts today, right? And you can be very successful in this.
I agree with you, and I think even Gina, who's the director of our marketing, I think she even talked about LinkedIn and figuring out a little bit of the algorithm and how it works, right? And it's learning how to maneuver, how to manipulate the algorithm so that your posts end up being up top. And I think it's a sequence also. It's about liking, commenting, and then that tends to stimulate activity that social media site, and then it boosts your post. It'll put it up at the top, right? So it's kind of learning how to manage the algorithm and how it works, and I think that's what will put your content a little bit presented to other people as well. So
Yep.
that's good stuff. And then in closing, it looks like we have one final question here, Mr. Grider. I know that we have, we're running close to our time. And what are the best small business networking groups to join? As an LO, I'm trying to, partner up with some of these people. What say you, Mr. Grider?
Wow, that's a good question. Uh, Uh, I mean, I always look at, if I'm in a community, what is your community at, right? Isn't there some small business administration, uh, commerce department, right? Pete, have you ever joined any of those, Pete? I'm just going to
Yeah,
throw it out for you. I think you have, right? And that's kind
yeah.
of,
I used to do BSI, and there's Rotary.
yep.
What wasn't mentioned here, Dave? The Association of Realtors. So yes, it's always realtors, but there's going to be affiliates that you can get business from, and those are the other small businesses, the termite guy, the title gal, appraisers that LOs can network with. But yeah, I used to get a lot of business from BSI.
Yeah, it's
There's
awesome.
there's definitely there was another one called Latip. Did you ever hear that one?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
I'm dating myself here, probably went under in in late 90s or something. But yeah, there's all kinds.
There
Rotary.
is. It's about going out there and searching them. And I go right to my media community first, and then to kind of expand out. But how many self-employed borrowers do you deal with a day or a month, right? Well, I got the landscaper, I got the pool guy, I got the HVAC guy, right? I got the dry cleaners, right? I have all these. Where do they go? What's their sphere of influence, right? Right? There is a lot. And so you kind of just kind of get with them and kind of see where they're at. What do they know? There's lots of these communities out there where they all kind of in there, and you just try to get in their post, say this is what we do for them, and kind of just ask for referrals. There's nothing wrong with asking for a referral. If I did a good job with you, the best compliment you get is a referral. I think that's accurate, right? If they're referring you, they like that, and you can ask for it. Nothing wrong with asking for the business. I think a lot of people don't do that enough. It's like, hey, I'd love to have the business with you. Let me earn it from you right here, and you'll see what a good job I can do. Right? So
So a lot
awesome.
of amazing information today, Mr. Greider. Thank you for all your insight and your knowledge. Thank you, Peter, as well, for sharing with us today. As always, we want to thank you for participating and joining our webinar. We'll be back next month with some more interesting stuff and talking about cash out, which is the next iteration of this, right? Things are heating up, and it's either purchases or we're cashing out to do some things, right? As always, a copy of this will be made available to you, not only a copy of the recording, which we post on our YouTube channel, but as well as a copy of this training deck. And Mr. Greider's information is here, so that way you can contact him directly, and we'll put you in touch with one of our AEs. Do you have any closing words, Mr. Greider, before we let everyone go?
Man, what's the stock market doing right now? No,
Let me look.
Yeah. No, hey, control what you can control. I can't control what happens out here. What I can do is wake up every day and look at what is my value proposition today. Just go out there and help borrowers get out there and believe that you are the best person to help them, because I believe you are, right? So go out there and help them and set yourself apart, right? I can't control all these other things. What I can control is my attitude, my work ethic, and going out there and really helping people have a better life for themselves. And that's what being a good member of society and your local community. So thank you guys for being partners. Reach out to me anytime.
Awesome. Peter, any closing words before we let everyone go?
All good. It's going to be a great purchase season.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.